Today, I have a very interesting guest, Bart Magera. He got my attention when I read about semantic link building. Bart, thank you for joining us today. Why don't you give our viewers a quick intro of what you've been doing over the years and what you are currently doing?
Hey guys, thanks Jabez for having me. My name is Bart Magera. I'm the owner of MojoLinks, an agency where we specialize in international link building as well as full-scale SEO campaigns, technical SEO. I also work for Paradox Marketing as head of technical SEO and team leader.
Let's jump into the topic, that intrigued me right away. What is semantic link building?
My background is in semantics, and I'm also in Corey's Topical Authority group and course. So this is very near and dear to me. I really like the fusion between semantics and technical SEO. They really go hand in hand together, especially when now you have Google being so smart and so demanding, as well as the users, because the search intent is changing all the time. User behavior is changing, and also Google is getting smarter and figuring out the site structure. You can have many things going well for you, the content, the links, beautiful design, speed, but if your URLs, for example, are missing that search intent, if it's just best XYZ, in many cases, this might not be enough. This might have worked a couple years before, but now Google needs more context. That context can be provided in title, body text, in the headings, yes. But if you don't do it in the body text or wherever, you can do it in the URL. Sometimes when sites get bigger and bigger, you might lose that context, and that search intent will also change. So it's also very important to look at that from the site structure and architectural level.
Have you done parallel testings where you've built links from the point of view of semantics and another set of links built just your regular link insertions or guest post strategies? Have you seen any difference testing two different scenarios of building links?
When I build links, I make sure they are topically related and relevant. I vet the links personally, also with my team, and I make sure they are really relevant. I don't do blanket link insertions or guest posts. One of my clients is Binance, multi-billion-dollar company, and they have a very strict vetting process. So we always receive an SOP, an outline, a content brief, and the writers follow. So that's how basically it's done.
Talking about building the context through the body to the headings, I'm assuming you can do all this with guest posting, but can you do semantic link building with niche edits?
Of course. I had a client in the home improvement niche, and he had a very interesting demand to find a website that was relevant to garage doors. That was the thing. And you can certainly do it. It's very hard. You cannot operate on any lists. So that's why you need a skilled outreach manager. We often have this process where they provide the results, the list, for example, the website, and I decide whether it's really highly relevant, hyper relevant in this case, or not. And if you dig deep, you can really find those hyper relevant websites. And the beauty of it, what we do is that we can find niche edits with traffic. This is not something that it's offered by the competition at large, but yeah, niche edits with traffic. So if you go on Ahrefs and you check that link on that website, it's a link. It's not the domain. You can see the traffic. That's one of the unique services we provide.
So to build more context to the linking URL, if you add 4-5 sentences or paragraph or an H2 and a paragraph, is that enough to build links from niche edits from semantic point of view?
It's a very good question. I also deal with this on page level for internal linking opportunities for clients. And this semantic link building, it can be both within the website. Also, I deal with multi-location, like legal firms and clinics. So you're creating a map of topics, and they have to be related in some way. Sometimes the challenge is maybe you don't have that specific glass garage door, but you have some kind of a roundup post, something that is related. This is where the art comes in. You might find a good page, like a niche edit link insertion, but it doesn't really target your specific target keyword, but is related. If you force it, the users will not like it and Google will not like it. So the trick here is to find something that is somewhat related. You just cannot force it.
So let's say if your client is in the garage doors niche and you find an article with traffic related to home improvements, it's somewhat related. What will be your strategy to build a connection there in a semantically optimized way.
So, for example, a tactic used like a comparison versus something or alternative. You can find a post about alternative solutions for garage doors, glass garage doors, metal garage doors, and there will be a list of different types. And then, even though you might not have the glass garage doors, but you have different types, you might have the opportunity to add that type there. And there you go. You have a nice post with relevant solutions, and now you can link out to your solution to your client.
How is semantic link building different from your regular niche edits or guest posts? Because let's say niche edits, most of the niche edit services right now, decent one, most of them, they do provide a relevant article around the anchor text. So it fits in with the context of the page. So, the client's link, when it's inserted on a page, it looks relevant. But what are the main foundations of semantic link building? And how is it different?
One of the components is the existing traffic. So if we have the existing traffic in that hyper targeted niche, that already can be a warrant for that semantic closeness. Also, you will have to check the incoming links to that article and make sure if it really fits with your overall strategy, because sometimes there can be a disconnect, even though you might have a page that talks about your topic, but the website itself can be a link farm, and that's a problem. Unfortunately, as time goes by with the updates, many websites shift their strategies and they become link farms. Whereas they have been good in the past, now they are not. And the toxicity is there, the link toxicity. So this is something also you need to check. You can check that with tools, but you can also just look at the Backlink profile in Ahrefs, and that's how you can foolproof yourself and future-proof your website.
Right. When it comes to the content around your links, whether it's the content for guest posts or niche edits, what are some basic guidelines that link builders can follow to publish guest posts and niche edits? Let's say they've found a great page with traffic, or they found a really relevant site and they've got an opportunity to either publish a fresh article or do a niche edit. What are some basic guidelines that they can follow?
You can approach this in the way of thinking about your regular pages on your website, coming back to the search intent and adding personalization. When you, for example, submit a guest post request for a link builder, oftentimes they will just use AI and will return some generic posts which all look the same. I've done it on tests with that, and it's really bad. Semantic relevance comes into that. Introduce some personality, maybe you solve the problem, and showcase that in the post, and then make sure it reflects your target page. You have to add a little bit of icing on the top to make it work.
Let's talk about guest posting from semantic link building point of view. Do you have any guidelines of your H1s, H2s, and in which section will you insert your client's link? Does it have to be middle of the article or the top fold or right in the bottom?
The typical guideline is same with Binance. Usually they want the link somewhere in the first paragraph,
Mm.
very rarely at the bottom. The H1s and H2s should have a keyword variation of your target keyword. Always introduce some kind of variation, make it sound more human. Don't do generic style headings. Even one word change will be massive, in my opinion.
Got it. A lot of semantic and technical SEO experts say we don't need links. We can rank sites without links. You are a practitioner of both backlinks and semantics plus technical SEO. What's your honest opinion? Do we need backlinks? Do you need backlinks if you are publishing content from semantic SEO point of view?
So, for example, for a new site, first you have to define the central entity, your taxonomies, ontology, build some kind of a topical map, at least one, maybe a few, establish some kind of a publishing schedule, and you start off with the foundational links. For example, citations. If you're a local business, you need that. You need the NAP. So, in terms of link building, those are the foundations you need. It also helps with the Google Knowledge Graph. It creates that linking map. So this is how you start, and you start off slow. For a new site, also what works really well, I'm sure this is shared with other agencies, press releases, because it's kind of a natural thing. It's a mix of different links, do follow and no follow, but it also shows what you're doing, talks about your business. So this is working really well and can kind of offset, if instead of like using toxic guest posts and whatnot, some cheap links, a press release is a good place to start. And then when you are growing and you want to compete with the big boys, let's say in legal and medical niches, there's a few ways to approach it. If you, let's say, work with a clinic and you have credible doctors and they have publications, this can really help. You can have a growth period where you might not need any links. We can see this in Paradox, for example. They don't really rely on links, but they have credible authors, credible doctors. Also, a way around it, if you don't have a doctors, you can hire them. They can write for you in a way. If you are in a different niche, or you're lacking those publications, then if you want to compete with for the highest competitive keywords, then you would need some authority building, a combination of press releases, guest posts, reach out to some of the biggest sites. So I think you can go a long way if you take care of your site architecture, URL structure. If it's logical, you have a publishing schedule for a year or two, you can get very good results with very little or no link building. Then if you want to take it up a notch, then you can invest in link building. And just think about it. If billion-dollar companies buy links and some of them buy all of the links, there is always a place for link building.
That makes sense. When should a company, in which phase, work on the technical SEO part?
In my work, I do technical SEO every single day, 8 hours per day, and different types of website require different attention. If you have a multi-location law firm and they publish content, you have to make sure like the hreflang tags are set up correctly, the reciprocal tags. If you're publishing content for Australia, New Zealand, and UK, you have to make sure they are pointed correctly, the canonicals, so that they are displaying correctly for the locale. And often when they break is where you update the layout, maybe a template. You have so many broken links, and that immediately creates problems, and also can create problems with hreflang tags and canonical tags. Sometimes posts get deleted. You have to fix that. So every time there's a big change, we do it every month because there's new content being published every month. I know some agencies like do it maybe once a year or every 6 months, but if you're going really fast, you have to have someone to make sure nothing breaks.
Right. What's your take on link velocity?
Link velocity, in what case?
How many links you publish each month? Let's say new site and also an established site. How do you plan how many links you need each month? Let's say the company has money to invest in and there's tough competition. Is it safe to ramp up your link velocity each month?
If you have a new site, you start off slow. You can start off with foundational links, citations, and press releases. As months go by, you can definitely ramp up with guest posts. The trick is to not have a spike in links and then sudden drop. As Corey said, for link building, when he talks about frequency of publishing, you can trick Google by breaking the patterns. You don't need to follow any specific pattern that pertains both to publishing posts and building links. So as long as you introduce some variation, you will be good. I would not use this strategy where you publish a ton of links one month and then zero links next month. It doesn't mean you have to publish every day, every week. You can publish a few links today and then a few links a few days later, as long as there is some kind of schedule. And it doesn't need to be strict, just show Google some signals.
Are you saying there needs to be a balance between how many articles and links you're publishing?
Yes, especially now when Google really looks at the quality. Some niches require more content, obviously, but now what I've been seeing is more pages are bigger. Instead of segmenting and fragmenting them across many smaller pages, you can consolidate all the existing pages into new, larger ones. And that seems to be rewarded now. And how to support your publishing schedule of posts. Once you publish them, you can wait and then find those linking opportunities. If you research even just one keyword within a topical map and create a very good piece of content, it will attract links naturally. I've done it and I'm still getting links from Huffington Post. Some people don't believe me. I think they think I paid for this. I didn't. Your content published today can attract links for years to come. So don't. What I would not do is publish the content today and build the links today and tomorrow. You can wait. There is no rush. The same with breaking the pattern according to Corey. Make it look natural.
Right. Many times clients, they have fixed budgets and they would say, oh, I want 10 links per month. That's creating a pattern. Would you break this kind of pattern?
If we were dealing with big fluctuations in publishing frequency or number of links, that would be a problem. 10 links can be spread out over a course of a month very easily. So there's no real risks for that. What I've seen is if you publish those links on day one, yeah, that would be a problem. But 10 links over 4 weeks is 100% doable.
Right. And also many times clients finish their content first. Companies are not publishing articles consistently, but are publishing a ton of links. Can you get by with that strategy?
I always recommend content first. Always content first. Links are just a justification of your amazing content.
Right. And how do you balance the internal and external anchor text?
I follow this rule of no more than 5 words. One of the problems we are dealing right now with one of the clients is they use programmatic scripts to build anchor text, and some of the anchor text are 60 words long. So this is a big problem, and it cannot be fixed manually. It's a script. I am seeing this more and more. This is a development issue. Some people do this long anchor text. They think it's hyper relevant, but it's too much. You should be able to tell Google and the users in about 5 words what is it about.
For internal anchors, by internal linking on your site, and external anchors when you're building backlinks, how do strategize, create a balance, relevance, both side of anchor text?
Something I see on a large scale, maybe it's an outdated tactic for external links. One of the anchors you will see this website or this study. That's a missed opportunity right there. I see it every day. There is no contextual reference for Google, for users. And many websites, especially older established websites, have a ton of these anchor texts. And for internal links, another outdated thing, learn more. Learn more. And this also goes into CRO. It's not just SEO, it's conversion rate optimization. So why would you want to click on a learn more? I don't know where I'm going. Even just changing learn more about cranial cervical instability or learn about this symptom is already better than just learn more. So go to your website and check how many anchors you have learn more, and then for external, this website, this reference, this study, what study? This study about blah, blah, blah. And there you go. Already, it's already way better. Google will love your site more.
What about having that whole sentence, this study about XYZ, but the link is just on this study? So the other text around anchor text, does that not help?
This relates to the semantic link building. You can have a nice anchor text and you can have a nice source article, your target page, everything seems to be relevant, but the sentence around it and the sentences around that sentence don't really fit. This is where the art comes in. When I give instructions to my content team, we go through the sheet and update the anchor text. We have a original context sentence, modified context sentence, and the anchor text. A skilled content team should be aware of the context, what we are writing about, and you can give those instructions to AI as well. Please provide the original context sentence, the modified context sentence. Make sure the anchor text reflects the source and the target. Those are the instructions, and they work really well. This study will not be enough. I would include at least one word, maybe 2 words, this study on, and then make sure it's followed by a little bit of more information, but just one piece of information more than this study or learn more, and then you will be good to go.
Is it safe to edit anchors of already published backlinks? Let's say old backlinks from last year. Like people who listen to this podcast, they realize, oh, I need to optimize my anchors. But is it safe to go back and fix anchor texts of old backlinks?
That's a very good question. Think about it from the standpoint of updating your content. If the content has changed on an external website, you might update your anchor text. Roll it out gradually. If there's a justification that your content has changed, because content gets updated and you should do it periodically. And there's many strategies also that work really well because you're sending that Google freshness signal. If you updated this anchor and it's completely different, unrelated, maybe the topic changed, maybe even the niche changed, that will be difficult for Google to figure out. And also you can approach it from a standpoint of an age domain. If you have an age domain in the legal niche, for example, and now you want to transition into restaurants, that might be a little bit hard and risky. If it's topically relevant, yeah, it's okay.
Okay. And if you want to optimize your anchors, will it be safe to first update your content, the linking page, the site, or the page you're getting backlinks? You update a bit of content there as well, and then you update your anchor text.
100%. This is what we do all day, every day. We analyze the context, make sure it fits, and modify it accordingly. It doesn't always fit. So if you cannot modify it, maybe you can leave it or even remove the link and go to a different page. You can talk to AI, your teams, and ask for suggestions and try to find if it doesn't fit. Don't force it. Find a different page that will be more relevant. If you have a big website, there's a high chance that you will find a better page for that. And if you don't find it, now you have an opportunity to create a new page.
Are there any other link building strategies besides guest posting, skyscraper, and nature edits? Besides these three, are there any other link building strategies that you think is still underutilized?
Well, there's always parasite SEO, but it can be quite temporary. If you calculate your campaign well, you can get a nice ROI from that. That's a strategy you can get on Binance feed, for example, CoinMarketCap and the crypto niche, and underutilized strategies. Okay, so that's a good question. If you want a unique linking opportunity, you can network with people, you can go to conferences, go on interviews just like this one, and you can be featured in posts. I co-authored a book with James Dooley, Kazra Dash, and 60 other SEOs. You can get links from Amazon, their posts, their websites, also from YouTube, external links. So those would be the unique link building strategies I would use.
Got it. If you had just $500 to invest into backlinks, and this is your monthly budget for the next 6 months, how would you spend it? What would be your link building strategy?
New site, $500, one good press release, local citations, perhaps. I would always incorporate one good press release. It doesn't have to be do follow, it can be no follow, but make sure it's a quality and an actual press release. Press release is not a guest post, and many people treat press release like a guest post. It's a pretty nice organic way of doing it. So one quality press release, and then spread it out between guest posts and niche edits, maybe depending on the link quality, one niche edit, one guest post, or a few more if it's like lower priced.
Would you do one press release per month for the next 6 months?
Yes, one press release per month.
Got it. And let's say it's an established site. Would you do press release for established sites?
For this to work, you would need to align this with your content strategy. So first, take a hard look at your business. If you want to grow, you cannot just write some random press release and hope for the best. No, I can release a new service, or even if I don't have a new service, rehash an old one, make a new package, make a new deal, introduce one feature even, and that warrants a nice press release. And as long as you have something to support the press release, you can create a whole story based around that and a whole schedule for the next 6 months. And you can separate those features and talk about them in the press release.
You've said that you prefer press releases and you do invest into that. As a semantic SEO expert, what's your take on digital PR?
It's a good way to get your name out and showcase your unique selling point, your unique services. It's a tried and tested strategy, and it's getting more prevalent now when you see all those toxic link farms and whatnot. It's a pretty safe way of getting the ball rolling.
What about HARO link building, journalist link building, where you get links on a wide variety of domains? It can be domains that are not related to your main niche. Many times, even the topic or the article where you're getting the link doesn't make sense to your niche, but it's a link on a high authority site.
Another good question. Charles Float talked about this as well. So if you have already an established website and you get a link from really, really totally unrelated website, it doesn't really matter, because when you think about bigger websites, they are getting links from everywhere in the world, and Google just ignores that. So especially if your website is already growing and established, it will not harm you in any way. An established website? Yeah, I think it will. Just adds to the link profile, and it's a natural placement.
That makes sense. And I know, like, I didn't give you a heads up and I asked a lot of secrets probably. So thank you for sharing openly. You are, working in a field which is very unique, and there are not many experts in that field. So how can our viewers keep learning and following your feed?
I will be sharing a lot of stuff on my Facebook. I'm actually building a knowledge base of all the things that I'm doing, and look out for more content on Facebook and LinkedIn. Also check out my website, mojolinks.com.
This was really, really interesting. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. It was great talking to you.